I'm Mishti Max and I'm here to share this vibrant red makeup look with a punch of copper, which I created to match this cool wig that I received from Wigaholics. I have a showcase and review for the wig in a video coming soon. You can find the links in the usual places. I'm also trying some new stuff I bought recently from Zoeva and Colourpop, and if you want to check out the rest of my Colourpop stash, you can see the description box or card up yonder. So let's get down and dirty. First, I primed my eyelids with Too Faced Shadow Insurance all the way up to the brow and under the eyes as well. I have the MAC Paint Pot in Painterly and the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush to apply it to the brow bone and crease area to neutralize discoloration and veins. This is the Inglot number 111R eyeshadow, and I'm using the Sigma E32 Buff and Blend brush to run that through my brow bone and set the paint pot and also highlight that area. And for the transition shade, I'm applying a mixture of the medium and darkest shades of that Inglot Peach shadow through my crease with the Sigma E25 blending brush. I have some new brushes that I bought from Zoeva, and the first one I'm trying out, fresh from its delightful Ziploc bag, is the 231 Luxe Petite Crease Brush. I'm using that to pick up the Shadow Slow Burn from the Urban Decay Electric palette and placing the neon red through my socket, blending it upwards onto the brow bone and using the point of the brush to define the crease line. I'm actually creating a higher crease here so the lid shade has more space, and also curving the eyeshadow around to meet the outer corner of my eyelid in a round shape. The pointed tip of this brush is fantastic for plotting out a sharp socket line, but it works really well for softening the edge of eyeshadow as well, because the shorter bristles allow easy buffing out. The brush is nice and soft and delicious to use so far. To make sure the neon red transitions into my skin tone, I'm using the Transition Blending Brush and also bringing in the Sigma E36 Tiny Blending Brush to buff out that edge. I layered on more slow burn eyeshadow to keep the pigmentation strong, and I made sure the crease color can be seen when my eyes are open. I buffed out the edges with the Peach Shadow and the Sigma E36 Tiny Blending Brush to get a really good fade. I brought in Sugarpill's Love Plus eyeshadow to deepen the crease, and the point of the Luxe Petite Crease Brush was perfect to add darkness to the deep crease. And I also added some of this deeper red to the outer corner of my eye, dragging it along the lash line. I layered that deeper red a few times to get the desired intensity, and then I went back with Slow Burn and the Tiny Blending Brush to make sure it merged into the neon red well. Next, I whipped out the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk to coat my eyelid, and I smoothed it out with my finger to provide an even creamy base for the next shadow. And now I have my brand new Colourpop Super Shock Pressed Pigment in Erotic. So I'm starting with the Sigma E57 shader brush and pressing it over the mobile eyelid, and wowee, that pigmentation is sexy. So I continued to apply the squishy textured eyeshadow and found that you have to scoop out a little chunk of the product and not just press it on, but rub it onto the skin to even it out, swiping it with the brush to get good coverage. I have to say, this formula is really amazing with delightful pigmentation, delicious vibrancy, and it keeps the sparkles on the lid without any fallout. Colourpop suggests that these eyeshadows are best when used with fingers, so I dipped in there, picking up the neon red pigment with sparkles throughout, and fingered my eyeball to get maximum capacity out of this product. And I'm satisfied with the shadows so far and think they're awesome. So back to the tutorial. I deepened up the crease with more Love Plus eyeshadow and the Luxe Petite Crease Brush from Zoeva, which is a fantastic brush. I'm blending more into the outer corner and merging it with the Erotic lid shade. I made sure to blend it all the way into the inner corner of the socket and saturate the crease with the primary red. I tickled the edges with the Sigma E36 blending brush with no additional product on it, and went back to that flat firm shader brush to pick up some Sugarpill Love Plus and really pack that darker red on the outer corner. I did a bit of cleanup under the eye and removed the shadow on my tear duct area with some Garnier Micellar Cleansing Water and a cotton bud to prepare for the infamous NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Cottage Cheese, which I dabbed onto my inner corner, but then remembered I should prime under the eye because I get some creasing in those lines there, and then I went back to apply more of that shimmery white pencil on my lash line. I ended up covering up the next step, but I'll tell you what I did anyway. I applied the Makeup Geek In the Spotlight foiled eyeshadow with the Sigma E30 pencil brush and blended it out with the Sigma E44 firm blender that I like for that inner socket area. I also added some more shadow up under my eyebrow, but realized it wasn't working. I wanted a stronger color there, so I pulled out the Sugarpill pigment in Penelope, which is lustrous, chunky copper deliciousness, and I used the same blender brush to pick up what was in the cap and began to dab that on the inner corner. I much preferred the copper pigment next to these red eyeshadows, and I added more, swelling it in the inner crook of my eye, all the way up to my eyebrow. I'm adding more and more until I'm satisfied with the intensity. I blended it out a touch on my nose bridge and decided to add a bit more lightness on the tear duct with the In the Spotlight foiled shadow. I blended that into the lid shade with some more erotic on my finger. Then I grabbed the Makeup Forever Flash palette and chose the red cream to run along my lower lash line with a cotton bud. I also used the other end of the cotton bud to blend out the product. After I layered it up enough, I went back to Love Plus and used the tip of the firm shader brush to set the cream base and buff out the edge, joining it up to the upper lid. Next I have the eyeshadow slow burn from the Urban Decay palette again, and I'm using the tiny blending brush to fade out the lower lash line, taking it down pretty low for an extra dose of dramatic. The inner corner wasn't working for me, so I went back over the Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow with some Sugarpill Penelope to block it out, and made sure to blend that across into the red shadow. So I'm going for my standard Inglot Gel eyeliner in number 77, and using a fresh pointed cotton bud, I'm smoothing it all along my waterline and blending it into the roots of my lashes. I blended the black into the lower lash line with some more Love Plus, and then coated my tight line with the same gel eyeliner. I added more vibrancy with the neon electric red under the eye, fluffing that tiny brush around there. I decided to smudge some more black on the upper lash line, so I grabbed more gel eyeliner, applied it with a cotton bud, and smushed it right into the lashes. Then I took the Sigma E15 flat definer brush and smudged that out to create a smoky eyeliner effect. I blended the edge of the liner into the crease with some red eyeshadow, and then to further define the eye, I dipped into my Sugarpill Bulletproof that I unfortunately dropped and shattered, but it still works, so I set the gel eyeliner with the matte black eyeshadow on that same flat definer brush. I'm also adding some underneath the eye close to the lashes, and blending it out with some more red eyeshadow so the vibrancy doesn't get lost. I wanted to jazz up the upper liner, so I added more black eyeshadow and lifted the outer corner of the eye without creating a wing, but still getting the elevation effect. Then I coated my upper lashes in CoverGirl Clump Crusher mascara, just applying a small amount since I'll be using false eyelashes later, and I used plenty of MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash Mascara on the lower lashes. I forgot to curl my lashes, so I did it really gently and after the mascara dried. These are the false eyelashes I want to use. They are Senescent from Sugarpill. I measured them on my eye and trimmed the edges to create 3 pieces. This will make them easier to apply because they have a thicker band. I took the middle section and applied it to the outer edge of my eye, and I placed the smaller inner section next to it to complete the lash. To make sure both sections merge well and look seamless with my real lashes, I applied a little bit of mascara, focusing on the center. For my eyebrows, I lightly defined them with the Revlon Color Stay Brow Liner in Blonde to give a base. I wanted to do something different, so I picked up the Sigma E65 small angled brush and dipped into the Sugarpill Love Plus eyeshadow to apply some color to the tail of my eyebrow, packing on the red eyeshadow up to about halfway along. Then I picked up the Urban Decay Slow Burn eyeshadow on the same brush and applied it to the middle section of my eyebrow, fading it into the darker red and tapering it off towards the head of my eyebrow. I cleaned around the edges with a cotton bud to remove the excess shadow, but still allow a fluffy natural look to the brow. I deepened up some of the red color and tried to simulate something similar to the wig I'm going to put on in the end. To bring more neon in there, I applied some of the ColourPop Erotic Super Shock Shadow over the center area and brushed through the hairs at the front. I ran some of the Benefit Gimme Brow through the start of the eyebrow. Now that the mascara is dry, I pinched the false lashes together with my real lashes. I wanted to bring a little more zest to the eyebrow, so I took that Sugarpill Penelope pigment and dusted it through the remaining part of my eyebrow with the pencil brush, and then combed that through with the brow gel again. I did my face as per usual, and I buffed the inner corner punch of color in towards my nose a bit before applying concealer on any areas of darker pigmentation. I set the areas where I placed the concealer with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in diffused light, and just swirled that on the center of my face. I blended the edges of my eyeshadow into my face makeup, taking more slow burn and bringing it lower. Then I made sure it faded out well using the Sigma E32 Buff and Blend brush, adding more of the light shade of the Inglot Peach shadow. And I also brightened up the brow bone with that too. I darkened my beauty spot with my eyebrow pencil and dusted a light layer of powder over the rest of my face to prepare for blush. And today I'm using the Sugarpill eyeshadow in Kitten Parade and applying it from the apples of my cheeks back to my hairline, buffing it over my cheekbones to make use of the gold shift as a highlight as well. To pull some red into the cheeks, I applied a tiny bit of Love Plus eyeshadow under the cheekbones and blended it well, also layering more Kitten Parade on top for shine. This is a close shade to the NARS Orgasm blush. I blended out the cheeks to make sure they weren't too strong, and then I added a little bit of Benefit eyebrow powder in the hollows of my cheeks and into the temples, not doing anything harsh, and blending it softly into the blush. I settled all the powders into my skin, spraying MAC Fix Plus all over my face and fanning it dry. Then I wanted to intensify the red on the cheeks, so I added more Love Plus eyeshadow. Just for fun, I played with my new Zoeva 129 Luxe Fan brush, and even though I didn't need any more shine, I applied a tiny bit of the MAC Whisper of Guilt at the high points of my cheekbones. I primed my lips with MAC Prep and Prime Lip Base, and I lined my lips with the Makeup Forever Aqua Lip Liner in 8C to give an outline for this new ColourPop matte lippy sticks in Frenchie. The twist-up packaging with the shape of the bullet is a little weird to use at first, but actually easy to apply to the lips. It's a really lovely bright warm neon red shade, and it's not too drying on the lips. It also holds up well under the pressure of eating dinner. And now I'm done playing around. Check out some close-ups of the finished makeup with hair out of the way in all its neon red glory. I really like a monochrome effect with makeup, and it was fun to incorporate the eyebrows into the shenanigans as well this time. However, to get a really strong colored brow, I would apply a white base first, and then apply eyeshadow over the top, but this gives a more subtle effect. I wanted to go really big with this eye look and bring out the dramatic flair to give a costume effect, since I have this wig to play with today. I received this wig from Wigaholics, and you can check out my video featuring it coming soon. Also check the card and description box for my new ColourPop stash with a review and swatches. I really love the erotic lid shade from ColourPop because its neon sass is yummy and the sparkle is cool too. Also, I've been hanging out to whack this copper pigment next to some red eyeshadow because I thought it would be really awesome, and it seems it is. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this wild neon makeup tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also check out my band and podcast on iTunes.